Hello and welcome everybody back to the channel. I'm Grandmaster Shaymin, and today we're going to be doing another episode of the Fatal 12 visual novel. Things really heated up with 10's elimination in the last episode. So if you did not see that, go back and watch it. It was pretty emotional. And not to mention some crazy stuff happened involving Miharu and of course Rinka, but despite all that, we are back with Federico's perspective of the entire situation in his hotel room with Odette. It's time to meet up with Odette at the hotel, and I still haven't gotten over my excitement about what happened last night in the dream world. Apparently he's thrilled about what happened, and yeah, they had some major issues. Yo, did you see those two last night? Looks like number 1 and 11 have some major issues to work out, eh? Man, there's just something thrilling about watching a falling out like that. But that makes it obvious that how little she cares about listening to me as I ramble on and on. Christ, mind not being annoying first thing in the morning. All I care about is getting some grub, so let's hit up the buffet. Kind of bored of the selection, but it still tastes good. Tastes good enough. Kind of bored of the selection, but it still tastes good enough to choke down. And here I thought that it would be useful info whenever we decide to target them. After saying that, I finally noticed that Odette's in a rotten mood. The excitement I got from their little quarrel made me forget all about what actually happened during last night's election. Yeah, she got shot down. That Miharu kid ain't to be taken lightly. Especially since she beat me to the punch. She might look annoyed, but here's the thing. Her voice makes it sound like she's a little thrilled by it. This game is finally getting interesting. I don't think I'll ever understand that monster's logic. Not after this outburst. I mean, you were just talking about how excited you were to see the falling out between 1 and 2. And now you're freaking out because she's a monster for having fun? Like, it's ridiculous. Not after the outburst and what she did to that Russian brat. Which, I mean, she took her parents hostage. Though, technically, I mean, it could have been in good intention. I don't know. I can say one thing for sure, though. She ain't the only one who thinks things have finally gotten interesting. Okay, then why'd you call her a monster? Oh, now we're back. Wait, what was the point of that? For the first time in a few days, I'm all alone when I wake up. My eyes feel dry. That leads me to believe I was crying in my sleep. I really am a weakling. I can't deny that I enjoyed the time I spent together with Sonia. Being with her helped to take my mind off the pressure of the divine selection. I do my best to hold back my tears as I make my way over to the desk. I pick up my card book and peer at the card I obtained last night. It's the card that Miharu revealed to every participant in order to earn the right to eliminate Sonia. Hibinata Miharu. That's what was written on Miharu's name card. The surname doesn't ring any bells, but considering our family situation, I can guess what happened. What's more, Miharu obtained my cause of death card last night. Through that, information that even I don't know the full details of. Her actions last night left me visibly shaken, which led her to take on a cold attitude towards me. I can't help but remember what she said. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. I see what you're doing, Miharu. After making that comment, I get ready for school. So she realizes that Miharu is probably trying to lead the others to believe they're not working together. I leave the TV on it as I do so, which is how I come to learn some interesting news. Apparently, a suspicious-looking bag was left on one of the Yamanote line trains near Shibuya Station. The police initially suspected it to be an attempted terrorist attack, but after inspection, the bag turned out to be empty. They're finding it now, though. It's been weeks. That doesn't make sense. It's been 4 weeks since divine selection began. The bag wouldn't have been there unless she maybe attempted another one or something. Part of me wonders if one of the Divine Selection participants might have been involved, but based on reports, I don't think of any links to them. Ouch. As I listen to the report, I suddenly get a pounding headache. See, it's linked to her cause of death, but the problem is that it happened so far in the past. You know, it's 4 weeks later. That bag should have been found 4 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Because they couldn't have undone everything, right? So the bag, the explosion that had already happened is gone, but the bag would still remain, right? But it probably wouldn't be intact. It would be what remains of the bag. As I listen to the report, I get a pounding headache. I start to feel stressed out and exhausted, both physically and mentally. Must have imagined the fact that there's no sound is freaking me out. Imagine the grisly scene of the terrorist attack unconsciously while watching the news. Thanks to all that excitement, it seems like the trains are running late. I better head out earlier than usual. Oh, Rinka. I bump into Naomi on the way back to school. I never see her in the morning because she's always... Wait, but we see her like every morning. Like legitimately, I mean we see her all the time, it seems. I never see her in the morning because she always comes earlier than me, but I guess the train's delayed her enough today. She notices me first, so she spins her body around to face me, and she falls on her face. Except the spin was so sudden it causes her to lose her balance. Careful! I quickly grabbed her hand and helped her so she wouldn't fall. It's been a while since I last saw one of Naomi's tripping scenes. Then again, it's been a while since I last saw Naomi, period. Haha, sorry about that. As clumsy as ever, aren't you? She struggles to hide her embarrassment as she props herself back upright. How are the preparations for the cultural festival doing? I guess we still haven't decided what to do for interior decorations and all that. But I did make sure to prioritize passing on what you taught me about brewing coffee. Everyone's going well on that front. Glad to hear that you're doing well. Hard to believe the cultural festival is next week, all things considered. I'm not even sure how things are going with my own class right now. I might end up helping them out with something the day of, but for now, I have no idea whether or not things are progressing well. How are things going with... Just as Naomi was about to say something, a voice calls out from behind her. Good morning, Rinka, and you too, Naomi. Miharu has just arrived, it seems. As always, her hair flutters elegantly in the wind. She's smiling. So she must have found out that she was killed by other people. Like, freaking probably stabbing, I'd assume. She speaks to me like normal, almost as if what happened in the dream world last night never took place. I do my best to follow along, considering Naomi's presence. Oh, Miharu. Sorry, but I better make my way to class before the bell rings. Oh, well, I'll go with you. She skids off ahead of me toward the building before I can finish my sentence. Looks like she really is avoiding me. I struggle to find an appropriate response. However, she removes that burden from me by making the response herself. I can't blame her. After all, I'm the one responsible for her evasiveness. Huh? Did something happen between you two? Not to worry. It's nothing major. We shall be on our way as well, though. We'll be late for class. Hold on. I still gotta talk to you about last night. And here, I thought I would be able to distract you from that topic. I plan on going to Lion House after I finish my shift tonight, so can I wait until then? Oh, so we'll at least get to hear it, right? You never intended to talk about it here, did you? Her smile upon hearing my question is answer enough for me. She's fully aware of that I want to talk about last night's events. The flood of students pouring into the school eventually forces us to ride the wave with them. Alright, well, we'll at least hear the explanation, right? She's not gonna... Time for lunch, Rennie! Mo darts over to my desk as soon as the bell for lunch break rings. I skipped breakfast today, so I'm starving. Don't you always skip breakfast? Anyway, let me get Miharu first. Don't bother. She's been called to the teacher's line to talk about her scholarship funding. How'd you miss her being asked to go there in the first place? Now that you mentioned it, that did happen. You zone out at the weirdest times, you know, with that. Well, whatever. Just you and me today, sister. She grabs my hand and drags me along to the cafeteria. Oh, you're not sticking with your staple bread today? No, I feel like trying something new. You're not having your usual either. Well, I grabbed it since it would go well with the delicious-looking rice you've got there. Mao opted for kagurage this time around. Well, I've got nothing but curry. We don't normally go for this kind of stuff since we have to carry it all to the rooftop, but I wanted something with a strong flavor today, so I picked this out without too much thought. Kind of surprised you went with curry. I figured you weren't a fan of spicy stuff. No, I'm fine with both spicy and sweet stuff, so long as they don't go overboard with it at least. Yeah, that's what I thought. Mao nods her head multiple times in an attempt to seem all-knowing. I dismiss it with a smile. As I smile, I remove the packaging on my curry. If I don't do it now, odds are I might actually forget to eat while talking to Mao. Oh ho ho, looks like I'm not the only one who ain't all here today. What makes you say that? Well, your lack of a spoon for one thing. Oh. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a lot on your mind. You just forget things. So I just forget things all the time. You can't pick up chopsticks and spoons at your leisure in the cafeteria, but it completely slipped my mind that I needed one. All I have is a small hand towel. Allow me to offer you a trade then. She produces a plastic spoon within the plastic bag she has with her. She hands it over to me in exchange for my towel. Thou shalt address me as Queen Mao. She goes along with it. Nice. Queen Mao, I am so grateful that you have bestowed this spoon upon me. I'd have preferred it if you were just a teensy bit hesitant. Yo, Rinka went all for it. Looks like she was banking on me not too pleased about having to bow down to her like that. I figured that it was going to be her ultimate demand, hence why I said it straight up front. Damn, though. You would have had to eat that with your bare hands like they do with Indian curry if it weren't for me. After hearing the words Indian causes Alan to pop up in my mind for a brief moment. Fortunately, her joke is a bit on the extreme side, so my involuntary reaction works for her too. I end up spending all of my lunch break chatting away with Mao. Just as we're about to finish eating, she brings up a topic I don't expect. I forgot to tell you, Naoring's got her mind on you a lot these days. Don't think you've noticed it, though. I ask what she means by that, but she waves off my question and continues. Gotta say, only a girl in love could make the face she did. Oh, shut it. Now you're just being rude to her. Fine, you can believe whatever you want, but she has been looking awfully lonely ever since you started to neglect her. Of course, yeah, that figures that they both like Rinka. And you're gonna make me choose, aren't you? Which, at the beginning of the game, I chose Miharu. But Naomi's speech a few episodes ago... Hey, that's not fair. She told me she's busy with preparations for the Culture Festival, so I'm giving her space. Thing is, Naomi ain't like Miharu. She's the kind of gal that'll keep her desires locked up inside. I mean, Miharu kinda did. I mean, she was crying as she watched, Rinka walk away. Anyway, you've been looking pretty rough for a while now, Rennie. How about getting some proper rest? The group just isn't the same when you're not your usual perky self. Like today, for instance, not only did you forget to grab a spoon for your curry, but you haven't even noticed that you've got it all smeared all over your face. She opens up the pack containing the towel that I traded for the spoon and hands it to me. I bequeath you this towel. In recompense, you will refer to me once again as Queen Mao. My everlasting gratitude, Queen Mao. Not again. And yep, guess I do have curry plastered all over the left side of my mouth. Mao's probably right. Everything that's happened recently has left me mentally exhausted. Even so, I doubt I'll be able to get any proper rest in the near future. After all, granted, I'm aware that you won't take any advice given by this fine piece of royalty to heart. This girl. Mao jams her trash into a plastic bag before standing up. At the very least, you should do what feels right to you. Thanks. I'm genuinely grateful to hear that. There's no way she could know about divine selection. Not even Miharu would divulge that sort of thing to her. And that's okay. That's how it should be. That's exactly why her words were such a relief to hear. Alright, well, do me a favor and chuck this. I'm gonna bother Miharu. She hands me the plastic bag and takes her leave. When she's gone, I finish up my own lunch before following her lead. Interesting. After classes end for the day, I head out of school with the intention of going home. However, once I reach the gate, I notice Naomi leaning against the wall with her eyes cast down. She doesn't even seem to have noticed me, so I call out to her. "Oh, Rinka, I was waiting for you, actually." Shit. Things are gonna get intense. I'm gonna save. I guess we'll save in slot number 3, just in case. Oh, you were? What happened with preparations for the Culture Festival? I told you about how we didn't have interior decorators this morning, right? Well, there are some other issues. Our budget won't allow for us to buy lots of coffee mugs and plating, so we decided to use plastic cups. That's why I thought it would be best to at least make sure the coasters and such are nice and cute. Would you mind going with me to shop for them? Only if you have the time, of course. Budget probably isn't the issue. I doubt they have enough people to wash mugs one by one. It's probably best that they stick to disposable plastic ones anyway, what with all of the hygienic issues to consider at such events. I happen to know a place that has exactly what she needs, so I don't see any harm in taking her there. I won't see Miharu until later tonight anyway, so it's fine as long as I keep track of the time. Please do. I don't want this to end up in a huge mess. Sure, I don't mind. You should have messaged me instead of waiting like this, though. I didn't want to feel like you had to come and cancel your plans, so if you're busy, then please do prioritize that. She trails off, drawing her eyes away from me. It's my fault she's acting this way around me, so I can't exactly brush her off. Come on, you don't need to worry about that. I know this good place in Shibuya. Let's head over there. Alright, thank you very much. With that, we make our way to the station. After we finish our shopping trip in Shibuya, we hop on the train to head home. At Shinjuku, we have a little downtime while we wait for our transfer to arrive. Alright, thank you very much, Rinka. I didn't expect to leave there with so much. I'm glad I could help. Naomi struggled to make the decision in the store, so she ended up picking 3 different items for each category. Her plan is to show them to the rest of the class and then decide on which to use. I gotta hand it to me. You're killing it as the class rep. Color me impressed. Oh, not at all. I'm just doing it because no one else volunteered. That's why I'm so impressed to see how seriously you're taking it. She must have felt her face burn a bright red as she diverts her gaze from me immediately. From what I've heard, it sounds like she's getting along with her classmates as well. I wouldn't be surprised if her taking charge of the Culture Festival played a part in that, considering how scared of me she was when we first met. That she's definitely come a long way. I guess that makes her the exact opposite of me. Just as we're about to get on the train, she stabs me with a sharp glare, and she leans in and whispers, "Look over there." I knew it. I figured this entire situation felt too deja vu-y, and sure enough, the one who caused all of this shit to happen to Rinka is here. Earlier than I thought, though, but I could definitely feel it coming. She motions towards someone in the distance with the subtlety to prevent bringing us any undue attention. That silver-haired person seems suspicious. Silver hair? Oh, let's see. Oh, her. My shoulders stiffen the moment I spot her. The train hasn't arrived yet, so... Naomi, you head back first. Just a moment. Judging by your reaction, I'd assume that's another participant. I do recall you mentioning there to be being 2 children. Yeah. Number 4 and 10, to be precise. Sonia's been eliminated, which leaves only number 4. I happen to have her cause of death card, but other than that, I don't know a single thing about her. I chalked up her appearance here as a coincidence, but that's probably a mistake. Not only have Sonia and Alan turned up in Shinjuku, but now she has too. There's gotta be a reason. The foggy spots in my mind, memories regarding my cause of death and what Parka explained at our initial meeting are likely linked to the same reason. I shouldn't waste my time trying to figure out that right now, though. Are you listening? Sorry, I got lost in thought. How do you know her anyway? I'm not sure, but he seems familiar for some reason. Plus, I had a rough image of what he would look like based on your description. Wait, her? Isn't that a boy? You think? Looks awfully feminine to me. Haven't we had this conversation before? Yes. Either way, their gender isn't here nor there. I mean, assuming that's what you were talking about and not, biological, Anyway. They haven't noticed us yet. Ah, switched over to they. Not bad, Naomi. That's decent. If you don't know, when in doubt, use neutral. They haven't noticed us yet, so we should tail them now, while we have that advantage. The tone of her voice matches the serious expression on her face. The more information you can get your hands on, the better. Sorry, I shouldn't butt in like this anymore. Don't worry about it. I was just thinking the same thing, to be honest. That's why I asked you to head home first, because I'm going to do it on my own. Sorry for being unclear. Her gaze falls to the floor, and at that moment of consideration, she nods. I'm well aware of the dangers involved, so I'll do as I told, but remember that I'm always willing to help. If you manage to snap a picture of them, I could do my own research at home. Just hearing that is a relief enough. Thank you. Be careful, okay? I respond with a firm nod before we part ways. Sorry, Naomi. I apologized to her under my breath after we slid up. Next, I pick up my pace to keep the girl in sight. Shit. Oh, we followed her. After 30 minutes of tailing her, we finally reach what seems to be her destination. Upon leaving Shinjuku Station, she takes the Chow line all the way to the residential district. Judging by the familiarity of the area, she must live around here. She certainly doesn't look Japanese, but there aren't any hotels around here, which means she probably isn't here on holiday with her family, unlike Sonia. That leaves only one alternative. It's hardly surprising, though. Lots of foreigners live in this area. Here we go. She stops in front of and then makes her way into one of the houses. Seems like a pretty old place, other than the houses around it anyway. Another thing that makes it stick out is how run down it is. A decent earthquake could probably shake it down with ease. I'm hardly a pro when it comes to tailing people, but I think it's safe to say that I wasn't noticed. There seems no need for me to escalate things yet, so I check out the nameplate at the entrance after making sure she's gone inside. It's a bit faded, but not enough to make it illegible. Ushizuka. Safe to say that's the surname of the house's owner. Does that same apply to her, though? My instincts say no. In fact, it's entirely possible she's squatting in an empty house for a temporary lodging. Ducking behind a wall of the house next door, I try to eavesdrop on conversations going on. Lucky for me, I'm able to hear something. Nothing specific, but the walls are thin enough to leak the voices from inside. Sounds like there's at least two people inside. One is likely the girl, but the other sounds like an old man. I'm guessing the latter owns the place, which means the girl is probably staying with his permission. I wonder, does my card book work with conversations involving someone who isn't a participant? Considering I was able to hold a conversation with that one tourist before I even knew anything about the divine selection, it's safe to assume it does. I should head back. It's my best option for now, especially when I can't make out exactly what they're saying. Just as I'm about to walk away, a passerby starts talking to me. She's in her early 40s and carrying a bag from the supermarket. I assume she's buying things for dinner. Oh, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Ushizuka? Not quite, no. I'm taken aback at first, but she might know something about the girl if she lives in the area. When did that foreign child start living here? Oh, I see that's caught your attention as well. Her face twists into a sly grin in addition to her response. I know her type. That's the exact same expression made by the kids at school when they gossip about others. Oh, so she found the gossiper of the town. Well, no one knows for certain why, but at some point he just cut off ties with the outside world. He rarely leaves the house, so for a time rumors keep spreading about how he starved himself to death. But then we noticed him lurking around and carried on with our lives. Doesn't help that cases of the old folks dying all alone are on the rise too. But anyway, people first mentioned that the girl around a month or so back. Rumor has it that there are some dubious circumstances between them. In fact, some say there are frequent illicit establishments. and thinks that's his child. Oh, goodness me, I shouldn't be talking about telling a young lady such things. That's funny. The look on her face practically screams that she wants to keep going. So no one knows who she really is. That's right. All sorts of bad rumors surround that man, including his nefarious deeds abroad. So no one wants to get involved. Of course, nobody wants to risk earning his wrath by reporting him to the police either. I've even heard about how the girl has some sort of illness, which is even more reason the folks keep their noses clean. You're probably best off not getting involved either. Thank you for your concern. Just listening to her gab on and on pissed me off. I won't judge anyone for hazarding a guess about something, but using it as an excuse to spread unsavory rumors about him feels wrong. Plenty of older people live by themselves, so why would they make comments at his expense about it? Having given her my thanks, I use it to make my own cut to the conversation. Use it as an excuse of my own to cut the conversation off there. My hunch seems to have been on the mark at least. I might be able to find something out if I talk to him. I should go home for now, though. I've still got the store to attend to. Interesting. Make sure to message Naomi on the train home. I assume she's worried about me, all things considered. No point giving an in-depth report, so I just text a quick summary. It doesn't take long for her to reply, telling me to keep in touch if I need help. She said something similar when we split up. Something's definitely suspicious about the situation between those two. I'm curious her thoughts on the matter, but that would just invite the same gossip as that lady. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather as much info as I can. Instead, I reply with, "It's all good," to which she responds with an emoji. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather the info as I can. You said that before, didn't you? I prep to open the store as soon as I get back. A few people swung by, but no one stays for long because it's a weeknight. Once 9 p.m. rolls around, I close up shop. Miharu stops by around then, just like she said she would. Hi there. Hey, yourself. Let me get you some coffee. Thanks. Should you really be giving out freebies, though? I nod and follow up by telling her we might be here for a while. After making enough for both of us, I move over to our usual table. Is it safe to assume that you're looking to confirm things with me? Yeah. I waste no time getting into the meat of things. She takes a sip of her coffee before going on. As delicious as ever. Thanks, but let's not get off topic. That night when I caught you and Sonia discussing something, it was about my cause of death card, wasn't it? Yes. I bet you hadn't anticipated her being in possession of one of your cards. She didn't keep it a secret with bad intentions, though. Apparently, she just didn't want you to suspect her even more. I can't blame her, considering how I acted when we first met. Anyone in your position would have done the same. That's why I made it a point to confirm with her whether or not she had any of our cards. As it turned out, she also had your... as it turned out, she also had your name card. Right. She mentioned that she regretted her choice, that it would have been better to have thrown her fear of not being trusted away and told us the whole truth. That sounds just like her. No argument there. It's almost upsetting just how innocent that girl was. Memories of us sitting together at this very table come flooding back. It was like we were nothing more than 3 friends hanging out. You know, number 11 is looking to eliminate as many as she possibly can, so I want to make sure she couldn't get her hands on my card. More importantly, though, the prospect of her snatching up your card terrified me. And that's why you opted to eliminate Sonia instead. I hesitate to press the issue any further, mainly because it involves questioning how she could be so calm and collected in the face of all this. It's entirely possible that I'll hear something something I don't want to if I ask, and yet I end up asking her anyway. Oh shit, the music stopped. She's going to talk about her suicide, isn't she? How can you stay this calm after her elimination? Does it mean nothing to you? God damn. Is there any need to waste my time feeling upset? I can't bring myself to snap anything back at her. That's the exact response I was afraid I'd hear. It's not like I don't understand her point. I know that there's no point in being upset. You honestly have no issues taking that stance. I don't. My course was set the moment I learned that you're a participant. My life exists solely for yours now. I wish you'd stop saying that. I've heard it more than I ever wanted. I can't help but be blunt. While I expected such a reply, it's not what I wanted to hear. I don't have it in me to say anything more, though. It's barely been a day since it happened, so I can understand why you're distraught. In fact, your ability to worry is one of your stronger points. The tone in her voice didn't falter. We should probably wrap up for the night. Although, would you mind if I stayed a bit longer? I haven't got to finish my coffee yet. My only response is a quick nod. Just as she said that, I'm still distraught over what happened. What's worse, I seem to be more agitated at night. I end up waiting for Miharu to finish her coffee. I can't bring myself to look her in the eye during that time, not even once. Well then, I should be going now. Mind waiting for a minute? I stop her just as she's getting ready to walk out. There's still one important question left for me to ask. Your previous surname was Hibinata, right? Have there been issues at home and stuff? But I was always curious why I didn't have your name card, and then it triggered when Hibinata Miharu rather than Mishima Miharu. So, I'm Mishima Miharu on my family's register, just so you know. Yeah, so? Creates a whole lot of doubt for me when it comes to the criteria for creating new cards. Yes, and those doubts aren't unfounded. Our lovely little goddess seems to have skimped on her explanation relating the process. You can call it a loophole of sorts. I managed to catch a brief glint of sadness in her eyes. There's no doubt she's not very comfortable discussing this topic, and yet she does her best to act unfazed for my sake. I make no effort to stop her, though. She knows that I've noticed, which is why she's bothering to explain it in the first place. First things first, I need to apologize for not telling you the truth. Her expression grows more pained as she says that. I feel kind of bad about it, so I can only imagine how she feels. The only way I can explain it is diverging even more about myself. I said that my surname became Mishima after my parents got divorced, but that's not quite right. You know full well that my mother isn't the greatest person in the world. In fact, let me make it clear that I loathe her. I figured that much. She has talked to me about her mom before, albeit briefly. About her habit of wasting money and her failure to do any chores, for instance. That's why Miharu has several part-time jobs and has to deal with the household chores as well. Unlike most students at Mecca, she is far from financially sound. The only reason she can attend is due to her scholarship. If I had things my way, I'd take my father's surname, but alas, I'm stuck with this one. I sense that there's a lot more to this than what she's telling me. It's likely that everything she's suffered through links back to whatever this could be. You'd think that the rules pertaining our individual cards would be grounded with logic, but that isn't the case. In fact, they seem to rely far too much on one's personal perception. You can't make blind guesses when it comes to someone's cause of death. And regret cards, knowledge of the events surrounding them is a requirement. Each participant's perception of these events takes priority. In other words, there's no universal criteria in the first place for participants when it comes to creating new cards. That's Miharu's point. In my case, I have yet to accept that my name is really Mishima Miharu. So that's why the name card says Hibinata Miharu instead. Considering our cards are linked to the dream world, a deep part of the psyche, I really must be against taking on the Mishima name. Then it might be a lot more logical than you think. Think about it, no one's born with a name, it's on someone else to give them one. The names aren't set in stone either. If it weren't for Keiko, I probably would have agreed with Miharu. But now, this is how I truly feel. Surnames change all the time due to marriage. Not only that, but you can even get it legally changed if so inclined. It's not always cut and dry like that, sure, but names are still something that reflect a person's individuality over all else. I certainly haven't thought of it that way. Perhaps my concern about my name was obstructing my outlook on the bigger picture. That's a bit of an exaggeration. Still, I feel like my doubts have been cleared up. Sorry for the confusion. Don't worry about it. We've all got our baggage. You'll always be the same Miharu to me, regardless of what happens. She giggles with a smile in response to my proclamation. And it's not a forced smile either. It's sincere, one of relief. While slightly off topic, I was worried that you would start to avoid me after what I said at the Court of Fate. Really? I knew exactly what you were doing. Assuming things went as planned, then some of the other participants may be giddy over how we got into a big fight. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. The other participants must have figured out our friendship because of how we've been talking to each other in the first election. In fact, Sonia assumed that we were friends from the start too. The timing couldn't have been any more perfect. Alright, I'm saving. Well, I mean, okay. It's fine. Is this choice really important? I'm a little scared to pick which one. So you know what? I'm going to save it for next time. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you click that thumbs up button down below for me, because you already know your support's greatly appreciated. And hit that subscribe button for future content as well. And we'll see you all in the next episode.